Hey guys, it's Kaylee, the teacher of finances. I'm on here today for Wellness Wednesday, and we're going to talk about turn the music up. So I'm so pumped up about this. I love music, and I have these days planned out for 90 days of what I'm going to talk about. And so when this one was on my calendar today, I was like, yes, I love music. I found this 2000 best of 2000s hip hop and R&B's club bangers. And so I just was going to play a couple of them and kind of show you the vibe it gives me because I love music and that's what we're talking about today. So like listen to these songs and if you have memories from them, you can tell me about them in the comments. This makes me want to dance. I have something in my mouth. Sorry guys. There we go. Fuzz for my fuzzy socks. This makes me get ready to go and jam and have fun. All these songs bring up so many memories. Anyways, okay, and then my other go-to song is Ice Ice Baby. I love Ice Ice Baby. But anyway, so, okay, as you can see, I'm pumped up about today's live. If you're catching this live, drop a 1 for me. If you catch it after the fact, drop a 2 for me in the comments, please. So, turning the music up. Why am I talking about this? Because it's Wellness Wednesday, and we talk about things that's good for our health and our bodies on Wednesdays. And so something about music is it's super powerful. As I was preparing for this live today and I was thinking about what I wanted to tell you guys and what I wanted to bring on the stream, I was making notes and stuff, and so I started looking up old songs and everything, and I think after I get off of this live, I'm just going to jam that playlist and just go back into my days and have a good time enjoying some old music. I say old, it's really not old, but older music for me that has so many memories attached to it. But music is super, super powerful. There's so many benefits that comes to listening to music or utilizing music in your life. And so one of the things I wanted to say was just crank up those tunes and blast those beats because the results are in and music's good for you. So John Hopkins researchers had a dozen jazz performers and rappers improvise music while laying down inside of what you call a fMRI. So it's called a functional magnetic resonance machine. And what they did is they watched their brain and they saw all the different areas of their brain light up. And so with that, they realized that since music is structural, mathematical, and architectural, it causes different types of relationships and different types of senses to go off in your brain. And so you may not be aware of it, but when your body is listening to, or when you're listening to music, then your brain is doing all kinds of different activities and it's having different types of reactions. And so there's also been some research that's been done that says that it can reduce anxiety, blood pressure, and pain, as well as it improves with sleep quality, mood, mental alertness, and memories. So pretty much it's like a total brain workout for you. And today what we're going to do is we're just going to talk about how it helps your body and why it's important. But one thing I wanted to touch base on, and this is why it makes sense to me, as a classroom teacher, I used music all the time because it engaged my kids and it allowed them to, it's like they were able to recall what we were learning so much easier compared to if I was just standing up there talking. So there's there's 4 types of learning styles within the human body. So you have kinesthetic, which is going to be like your movement. So your kids that need to be up and down moving all the time for them to be able to grasp what you're teaching them. And then you have visual, which is going to be like a photogenic memory. They are good with seeing things, seeing a picture, writing, seeing writing on a board. And then you have auditory, which is going to be the sounds, of course, and then reading and writing, which obviously you know what that means. And so that's, of course, in the classroom, but even as adults, we're the same way. If you look at college students and you have a teacher that just stands there and lectures, a lot of the times you're going to have kids saying, or these college students saying, oh my gosh, they're so boring, I get nothing out of that class, compared to the teacher that's having them move around or doing interactive activities. And so it's just part of our brain and how our brain works. And so with music, there's several factors. There's 5 factors I'm going to cover today that helps you with your memory, or I mean that how music, sorry guys, how music helps your mind and your body. So it improves your memory. So just think about it. Like if there's somebody on here watching or watching this later that doesn't have one memory related to music, I would love to know because that's amazing to me, because I feel like there's so many memories in my life that I hear a song and I'm instantly going down memory lane. It's bringing back these photogenic memories. It's like taking an abstract thought and making it concrete for me. Colton and I listen to music all the time, so there's so many songs that I can go back and think about and relate them to different memories that we've had through the time frame of us being together. And then even as a child, there's so many different songs that are related to my memories. I had shared last week about my grandparents, and my grandmama used to have this really big like stereo in their front room, and she always listened to like old country music, like old school country music. And there was that song Just a Swingin', and I remember that song so vividly, and like just sitting in that room playing and that song playing all the time. And so there's just, there's certain things that you can relate to memory with music. And so there's actually been studies conducted with Alzheimer's patients, and it doesn't cure the disease by any means, but after the patients had listened to certain songs or certain types of music, it allowed their brain to remember things that at one point in time they had completely forgot. So I thought that was super, super powerful. And then the second thing is going to be it improves your workout and energy levels. So listening to music releases endorphins in your brains. And the endorphins are going to heighten feelings and excitements, which as well as they can either heighten anxiety or they can lower anxiety, they can ease pain, and it can also stabilize your immune system. So when your endorphin levels are higher, then you're going to have fewer negative types of stress in your, or fewer types of stress feelings in your body. So with that, they did a study of guys that were, I say guys, that may have been females too, but they did a study of bikers that were riding, and they were just, they were doing a workout, and they did one set with some really upbeat and high music and fast paced and like real, getting with it type songs. And then they did another group that had more of like the slower tempo sounds. And the group that actually was listening to the higher tempos and the higher beats were able to cycle harder, longer, and faster. And it's just because, they were able to take their mind off of what they were doing versus like, if I'm riding a bike, especially a bike because I'm not a bike rider, but if you were to put me on a treadmill or ride a bike, I'm going to struggle, especially if I have nothing to listen to. But if you give me, like I said, throw back my 2000s club banger jams or whatever, I'm probably going to be able to kick that workout out really quickly and it won't bother me as much. So it's just, it helps with your energy levels and your workouts. And then, of course, it helps you heal. So you may be thinking, like, what do you mean it helps you heal? Like I said, it releases those endorphins, but it also connects with your nerve system, so your brain functions, your blood pressure, and your heartbeats, and then your I can never say this word, your limbic systems, so like the feelings and emotions. So it connects those two together. And how that helps is like if you are going through pain and you are listening to types of music that allows your body to relax and to be soothed, then your body's able to heal better because you're not uptight and tense. Again, I found a bunch of different research studies because I like to provide you with information to back up what I'm saying, so you don't think I'm just pulling this out of my head. But there was some studies done on stroke patients, and they listened to music for a couple hours a day. Their verbal memory and their focused attention recovered better and had more positive improvements compared to those that did not listen to any music and that listened to audiobooks. Now don't get me wrong, books are amazing, books are so amazing. I actually like to read them and not listen to them though, because I'm really bad about zoning out. So if I'm listening to something and trying to do something else, then I'm not really listening to it. I'm not really taking it all in. So I like to read it because I put my focus on it 100%. But so that happened as far as healing. And then it also reduces stress and anxiety. So just like junk food increases stress in our bodies, and poor listening diets can do the same. And this is so funny. I have to share this with you guys. I was telling my family about it the other day. I made a reel the other day about junk food. Now, I did put on there in a comment that my kids eat it in moderation. And I have made a YouTube channel for the Teacher of Finances. And on that channel, I just take all of my lives and everything that I've made content wise and put it there as just like a resource library to have, especially if I lose access to Facebook or whatever at any given time, I'll have everything there. And some of the comments that I've received off of that reel are hilarious. It's crazy. And so, like, I know junk food's not good for you by any means, but we're not going to keep our kids 100% from not being able to have junk food, because whenever they get older, they're going to be able to have it. And then I don't want them eating it 24/7 all the time. So I just had to throw that in there when I was doing my notes. I was like, oh my gosh, that's so funny, because I put it on YouTube and people made all these crazy things about poisoning our children and whatnot. So anyways, but choosing quieter environments and settings to prime your body to relax and recharge. So how can you reduce that stress and anxiety? You choose those lower toned sounds and those lower tempo music, and it allows your body to relax and recharge. I had a principal, Mr. Davis. We're still really good friends. Love him to death. He used to always tell us all the time, when you have your kids come in your classroom, if you are playing some upbeat, high-tempoed music, you can bet you are going to have behaviors that day. Versus if you're going to play music when they come in, play soft tones. I used to play meditation music. I would play rain sounds, all the different really soft low tones, and it changed their behaviors. Because if you think about a child, especially nowadays in time, so many kids live in these really stressful and high anxiety households. And so you never know what they come from when they're coming to you. And then they're all stirred up, right? Their levels of their energy levels are like this, or they're tense, or they're frustrated because they just went through all kinds of crazy stuff, or maybe they didn't get sleep. Well, now their body's like on this stress level, and then you bring them into this classroom and y'all are like getting it. Well, they can't calm down. And so it's just so important to think about what you're listening to and how you can apply that to what you're doing that at that point in time in the moment of your day. And then it improves sleep quality. And so the National Institute of Neurological Disorders and Strokes actually had an estimate of 40 million Americans live with chronic sleep disorders. And then approximately 20 of those have trouble sleeping from time to time. And so they did some research, like the same thing, if people listen to music, how did it negatively or positively affect their sleep patterns? And the ones that listen to music, again, it can't be any like crazy high pitch or high tempoed music if you're fixing to go to sleep, but it helped them improve their sleeping patterns. And that's kind of, when I was writing that, I was thinking about babies. Like, think about how we with babies, you play lullabies to calm them down and all that stuff. It's the same thing. There's so many things that we do to our children or with our children, but then we forget to keep applying that to ourselves as adults. And so I just wanted to touch base on that. But besides the fact of the 5 areas that I talked about, music just in general, it changes your mood. If you're having a bad day and you're going through something and you turn on a song that you have a positive memory to, then you're going to likely kind of get out of that funk and you slip back into happier thoughts. And so what can you do with music to help you improve your life every day? You can develop a playlist. And when I say playlist, I don't mean like just develop one playlist to have. Like, yeah, that's cool, have a playlist. But make a playlist for certain things. So if you're going through a stressful situation at work and you're struggling, with stress and anxiety, then have a playlist for that. If you are going through happy times, have a playlist for that. Just have different types of playlists that can help you deal with life. Because overall and ultimately, it helps you and it helps your brain so much. It's such a huge thing that I feel like we take for granted, and we don't realize how much it changes our moods and our brain functioning. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday, and I will see everybody tomorrow for Thankful Thursdays.